Welcome to CSEGuru. In this session, we will discuss about the topic constants in C language. Next is floating point constant. The floating point constants are numbers with decimal part. That is 10.5, 12.02. Likewise, the numbers, it has to include the whole number part as well as the decimal part. That is nothing but the floating point constant. So this floating point constant is otherwise called base 10 number with the fraction part. So this is a base 10 number and this is the fraction part. So this is floating point constant. And this floating point constant will be stored in memory as two parts. One is significant or fraction part and another one is exponent or scientific notation. So for example, if you are considering 6.6982 E2. So if you are considering this one, so this is nothing but the significant or fraction part and this is the exponent or the scientific notation. So this we can write it as 6.6982 into 10 power 2. So this is nothing but the significant part and this is the exponent part. And the default form of floating point constant is nothing but double. And if you are representing capital F or small f in the sense, that is representing a floating point constant. And its default form is double. And if you want to represent the floating point as a long double in the sense, we have to represent it with capital L or small letter L. So this is nothing but the floating point constant. So the valid floating point constants are 0 point. This is a valid floating point constant. Before whole number part, it has included 0. Fraction part, nothing we have included. But this is a valid floating point constant. And dot 0. This is also valid floating point constant. 2.0. Here we have included all the places. Here we have included decimal point. And if I have not included anything here, it will be considered as 0 only. And this is a valid floating point constant. And this is a valid floating point constant since we have included small f here. So this represents the float data type. And if you want to represent a long double in the sense, and this is a valid floating point constant, here it is representing a long double floating point constant. So these are all the valid floating point constants. And if you are considering the invalid floating point constants, this 22.0 if you are including, this is a valid floating point constant. Slash 7 we have included. And this slash is an extra character. Here also extra character is not allowed in floating point constant. So this is an invalid floating point constant. And if you are considering, this is a whole number value. And there is no decimal point here. So this is invalid floating point constant. And this is an invalid floating point constant since we have included white space here. And this is invalid floating point constant since there are two decimal parts here. Only one decimal point we have to include. Before the decimal point, it will be considered as the whole number part. And after the decimal point, it will be considered as the fraction part. Here there are two decimal points here. So this is invalid floating point constant. And this is invalid floating point constant since we have included extra character comma. And this is invalid floating point constant. In exponent part, fraction is not allowed. In the significant part, we can include the fraction part. But in exponent, we should not include the fraction part. Only whole number is allowed in exponent. So here, since we have included the fraction part, this is invalid floating point constant. So this is nothing but the floating point constants. So these are all the valid floating point constant and these are all the invalid floating point constants. Next is character constant. The constants that is enclosed within single quotes, that is nothing but the character constant. For example, within single quotes, if you are entering a number that is 0, that is a character constant. So within single quotes, if you are entering any character, single character, that is also character constant. So this is small letter a. Even uppercase letters also we can enclose within single quotes. Even we can enclose these special characters also. So these are all nothing but the character constant. The single character which is enclosed within single quote. That is nothing but the character constant. And if you are considering these character constant, each character is associated with a unique ASCII value. So for example, if you are considering within single quote, if you are entering a number, that is 1. So this ASCII value is nothing but 49. And for 0 it is 48. And for small letter a it is 97. And for capital letter A it is 65. And for capital B it is 66. Likewise, capital C it is 67. Likewise, it will continue. And for special characters, that is for hash, the ASCII value is 35. And for greater than symbol, ASCII value is 62. Question mark, ASCII value is 63. Likewise, each character constant is associated with a ASCII value. So when you are entering this character constant in a program, it will consider its ASCII value. So the single character which is enclosed within single quote, nothing but the character constant, and the computer will recognize its character and it will consider the ASCII value. And it will consider its corresponding, and the computer will recognize its character and it will consider its corresponding ASCII value. Even this backslash constants, that is also nothing but the character constant. The backslash constants are nothing but /0, that is we should enclose within single quote. /a, /0 or backslash constants. And these backslash constants, if you are enclosing within a single quote, means that is nothing but the character constant. And this /0 is representing null character, and /a, it is an alert or beep sound. /b, it is backs for backspace, and /t for horizontal tab, /n for new line character, and /t for vertical tab, /f form feed, /or as for carriage return, and again single quote. This we should enclose within single quote. So that is nothing but the single quote. And /double quote, if you are enclosing within single quote, this is a character constant and this is representing double quote. So these are all the examples for backslash constants. These backslash constants are nothing but character constants. So the single characters which is enclosed within single quote, that is nothing but the character constant, and each character constant is associated with a unique ASCII value. So this is nothing but the character constants. Next is string constant. String constant is nothing but a sequence of 0 or more characters that is enclosed within double quotes. That is nothing but the string constant. So character constant is enclosed within single quote, and the string constant is enclosed within double quotes. And the string always ends with a null character. So this null character represents end of the input string. So empty string is nothing but either we have to enclose within empty double quote or enclose within double quote /0. So this is nothing but the string constant. And for example, if you are considering the valid string constants are empty double quote. This is a valid string constant. So this is a valid string constant. Here we can include white space, anything we can include within double quotes. That is sequence of characters, even white space, the new line character, that is the backslash constants, anything we can include within double quotes. That is nothing but the string constant. Even we can include within double quote the number also. So this is a valid string constant. Even we can include the backslash constants within double quotes. This is also a string constant. And if you are considering the invalid string constants, so if you are including within a single quote, this is invalid. So if you are including anything within single quote, this is invalid string constant. This is because this is a character constant. And the null character or empty string represents /0. So this represents no value. So as a character, it is 8 0 bits. And this is representing the empty string, that is string contains nothing. So these are all nothing but the string constants. Thank you for watching this video.